Last week we spent a lot of time talking about Eli Roth's Knock Knock. We spent probably more time talking about that movie and went more in depth on that movie than anyone ever, or anyone ever should, for
Mhm.
that movie. And we actually challenged Jami to watch the movie and to give us her perspective on Knock Knock, because Monty and Christian were giving their perspectives on it last week. So, Jami, please, you have the floor. Tell us all about Knock Knock.
Okay, so I watched it the other night, and when I first started watching it, of course I was getting angry because I was like, "What in the heck? How did they come up with this scenario? Why would they come up with this scenario? What is the purpose of this movie? This has to be just pure entertainment because I don't understand where this idea is coming from." Well, at the time, I didn't realize there was a original, from the 70s, and I do now that I looked it up. Remember, the original, but it changed my opinion a little bit because then I realized, well, what I think I'm not so sure that it was meant to be entertainment. I think there's two messages in it, and I'll get to that. But first, I want to talk about the pros and the cons of what I thought of it. Um, the pros are, I think it looks gorgeous. The girls, their acting is outstanding. It took me 3 days to realize that that one girl, the blonde, is the one that was in what is the name of that movie? Knives Out. That she's the nurse in Knives Out. I didn't put that together because she looks totally different in each movie. So she can morph. I like that. The first half of the movie was good. It's Keanu Reeves. The dynamic with the children, it was unbelievable a little bit. He's not the greatest actor when it comes to certain things, but other things I think he's really good at. And he does get better as the movie goes on. Um, I really like the fact that it builds up the tension, this especially the sexual tension that's happening between the three of them, and it builds it and builds it and builds it, and you're wondering, when is he going to crack? Because he's going to crack. I knew he was going to crack because of you guys telling me anyway. But even if I wouldn't have heard about it before, I would have known that he was going to crack anyway, because like they say at the end, no one ever says no. Well, I have to agree with those girls on that. Seeing a man say no, I understand. I do. Um, I don't think that most men would say no. Maybe some would, but most I don't think would, especially in that situation. Which I'm getting to. I liked the set design. I thought the color scheme was awesome. It was very colorful in the beginning. Actually, the whole movie is really colorful. I really liked that a lot. Um, the seduction, the seduction dance in the living room is brilliant. The fact that he keeps getting up, he goes over to the couch, they come sit next to him. Then he gets up and goes to the chair. They come over, they're touching him. He's very uncomfortable. You can see it that he does not want to do this. You can tell these girls are coming onto him and that he just doesn't, he doesn't want to do it. Um, when he goes to the shower to kick them out, I'm praying inside, please actually physically kick them out of your house. These girls are insane. These girls are nuts. I don't trust them. This is all wrong. Get them out. Of course he doesn't. Um, After that, um, I think the actions of the girls, it's far fetched and over the top. And here's why I say that. And I know it's supposed to be. It was meant to be. It's kind of the plot point, right, of the movie. So I get it. But it's just, I don't know any women like this. I don't know any women who would go out and victimize men in this way. So for me, it was very difficult to to listen to these girls, you know, with their language and their seduction manner, it was very male for me. It doesn't seem like something a woman would do. It seems like something men would do. No offense to anybody, please do not get mad at me for saying that. Um, it's just that it's too aggressive, and females don't tend to be aggressive like that. So I did have a little bit of a hard time with that. It sort of it made the movie less believable, and it brought me out of the storyline a little bit. But that's fine, because I realized afterwards that it is a remake, and in the original they act just as crazy. So I get it. I totally get it. Um in the end, when he hits like instead of delete, uh I thought that was a genius move. I thought that was really hilarious. I'm not sure how I feel about the wife coming in at the end and the little kid saying, you know, dad at a party, because it just bothers me. They changed the ending. So in the original ending, the girls leave the house and then they get hit by a bus. So it's karma, you know, it's karma coming together. These girls, they get away, and they get off, and they get away, and they ruined his life probably, you know. And I'm sure, first of all, it's not believable. The wife is going to come in, she's going to see everything, she's going to find him in the ground, she's not going to think, you know, that he's not been victimized. So for them to portray it as if, you know, like it's some kind of feminist message, I don't see it that way. I don't see this as a feminist movie. In a sense it is, because of the surface message, but I honestly believe that because he makes it so that they get away, there's an underlying misogyny to that, because he's saying that these girls, I I don't know how people are going to feel about this. Okay. Um there's a lot of talk a lot of times with men about women being fake and saying that they, you know, were raped and it wasn't real and it was fake, and you know, that women go out there and they lie about this stuff, and you know, they shouldn't dress a certain way, and they shouldn't do this and they shouldn't do that. In my opinion, this movie is sort of taking that, and it's a fear story. I get what he's trying to do, but it's a fear story for men, saying you better not cheat on your wife, you better not even let these ladies in the house, you better not even be nice to them, because it will all come back to bite you in the ass. Well, I have a problem with the fact that these girls get no karma, because in my opinion, he's saying that these women out there telling these lies are getting away with it, and you guys should, you know, you should be aware that these women are out there doing it. The truth is, I don't believe there's a lot of women out there telling these lies about men. I mean, there's some, I'm sure. There's always the bad apples, but I really don't think that it's a message that needs to be sent out there in a movie. And the way I feel about the messages in movies is, if people after The Exorcist, you know, started calling up the police and saying I'm possessed, if people after going to see the Omen, you know, started calling up and saying my child is the devil, then what's to stop, you know, people from thinking this kind of thing, you know, like, well, this is telling me that women are all shisty and they're all lying and they're all like out to get us. And I get it. I like both messages. I get it, but I do find a little bit of a misogyny underneath, in an undertone underneath the storyline. It's subtle, but it's there. Overall, I'm going to give this 3.5 hearts out of 5, because I actually really, really liked the movie. I really enjoyed it. I think that the free pizza line, I know a lot of people laugh at that, but I thought that was genius. That was incredible. He starts yelling out, it was free pizza. Yes, it was free pizza. It was free pizza. And it's funny to me that that's how Eli Roth put it, or whoever wrote it. I'm not sure who wrote it. I didn't really look into that stuff, but I definitely think that it was it was worth it in the end to see it. I think everybody should see it. I think it's a movie worth watching. I think it actually might even be a classic in the making.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, I know it came out a couple of years before the Me Too movement really got started, but do you think it's really making a statement about our, where we are as a society as far as, sexual harassment goes and, stuff like that?
I do. I'm not sure which angle he was trying to come from. I think on the surface, like I said, I think he's trying to say, hey, men, you better, if you're married, you better watch out. I didn't like the fact that he did it that way, though. And here's why. If my husband were home alone and a woman or two women came and knocked on the door and they were freezing cold and stuck in the rain, I would be disappointed if he did not help them.
But he held a gun on them. But he held a gun on them while they were there, right?
Yeah. The gun, that's another thing. The gun was in the egg. It was an Easter egg. The gun comes flying out. Why didn't he grab the gun to begin with? Because he felt the girls were not very threatening. I'm not really sure, but the fact that the gun is there that whole time is really funny and ironic. And I enjoyed that. I thought that was pretty funny that he could have used the gun the whole time and he didn't. Some of the ridiculous things in it, like the headphones, come on. He could have shook those right off his head, and the inhaler thing really upset me. I didn't like the inhaler being taken and then the guy dying. That's another thing. The whole friend dying thing and then putting him in the back of the van and stuff. I mean, it's obvious their prints are all over the house. So it's like they made this in a hurry and then didn't realize that there was going to be so many like mistakes when it comes to plot, like I don't find that stuff believable that he would get in any trouble for any of this because of the way that they left things. So anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say about it. So yeah, go ahead, you guys. Tell me what you think.
Nice. I like your perspective on the film. I appreciate the time and effort and thought that you put into it.
Oh, there's one other thing that I forgot about. It's very important too. People might ask themselves, why are these girls doing it? Well, they tell you why they're doing it when they're in the bedroom scene and they have him tied to the bed and she's calling him daddy. Why is she calling him daddy? Because she's re-victimizing. That's what's happening. That's what you're supposed to get, to conclude, is that these girls are crazy because they've been victimized and they're re-victimizing people. It's their way of coping with it. And I'm not sure if a lot of people picked up on that little, part of it or not, but I of course did because of my own personal life and what I know about things in my own personal life. So I picked right up on that. And I knew for a fact that they were saying that they'd been victimized and this is how they deal with it. It made them crazy. And that's why she was calling him daddy. And the whole idea with the outfit, from the daughter's room and then sticking the daughter's underwear in his mouth, absolutely disgusting. That's the only thing that I can say for a fact that pissed me off, like really bad in that. And is the only thing that I can say, hey, Leroy Roth, up yours, because I don't ever want you to do that again. That's beyond the pale and too sick. So, and that's it.
And I would argue that you felt something.
I did feel something. Anger.
Job successfully done.
I actually really liked it. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say I managed to catch both Knock Knock and the original movie Death Game over the weekend. The original, the only thing that really stuck out to me about the original, aside from the ending, which I do prefer the original ending, excellent analysis, by the way, Jamie, and I pretty much agree with everything you said. But I prefer the ending to the original. I really do. And, I think Eli Roth was just going for a laugh at the end with his version. And to me, it brought the movie down a bit. I thought the movie was fine. I thought Knock Knock was okay. It was entertaining. I thought a lot of the dialogue was crap. And yes, Eli Roth co-wrote it with two other guys, but I got to admit that pizza line is funny.
I like it.
Yeah. But the original, the thing that stood out to me about the original was the house. And, the new one is very polished and clean and everything, but the original, it was, the print I saw at least was atrocious, but the house was actually a pretty nice house. And evidently, two of the production designers were Bill Paxton and Sissy Spacek,
I saw
of all
that.
people. And I confirmed that it was actually them. I was like, of all people. And of course, Colleen Camp, who was one of the girls in the original, she produced this new one, Knock Knock, and also has a cameo, which he visits Keanu Reeves. And the other girl from the original was Sandra Locke.
She's one of the producers.
And she, So, I mean, I don't need to see either of them again, but I thought Knock Knock was perfectly serviceable. But it had those mixed elements and messages, and also I just thought the dialogue was just mostly just atrocious. But that's me.
Agreed.
So I think we can now officially close the book on Knock Knock.
Yes.
Let's never.
Yeah. Oh, actually, next time I have a whole dissertation on it.
I do have to say that I recommend it, though. I do recommend it. I think it was worth a watch, and I actually really enjoyed it, even though it took me through a roller coaster ride. That's exactly what it should do, is take you through a roller coaster ride. So bravo, Eli Roth. I thought you did a pretty good job, even though I don't agree with some of the underlying things in it. I definitely think that it's worth a watch, people. So go see it.
If Charles Bronson starred in Knock Knock, the movie would last. Bronson wouldn't even open the door. He'd say, "You broads get away," or he would have just fired through the door at him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They wouldn't have got it if they got in the house. I mean, come on.
No. It's a totally different movie. It happens to Bronson's friend. He starts nosing around what happened. He uncovers the sex ring. He kills everybody. He gets free pizza at the end.
Exactly. And at the end, there's a pizza party.
Yeah, there's a pizza party on Bronson's
party, pizza party.
See, if Tom Atkins had starred in this movie, both of the women would have fell in love with him. Yeah, and they would have all lived happily ever after. I mean, come on.